Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, September 27th. Skipped yesterday. Worked, of course. And then after work, I played D&D with my buddies. There was a couple of months where we were missing probably at least every other week. But it's probably been the last month at least. We've managed to make every week, and that's cool. It's really helpful when I'm trying to get the content made to schedule things ahead. Yeah, real nice. Because otherwise I'm like, what do I do? But, so it was fun. And today I took off work a few hours early. Went and got groceries. And then edited like 4 vlogs. So, those can now sit, and I'll have to come in and have to tell them to export one at a time, but throughout the evening I can pause my movie and go tell the next one to export, so I should have those all ready. Because I keep having like weekends where I don't get time to edit, and so even though I generally skip a couple days during the work week, if I don't get anything out on the couple of days of the weekend, I don't catch up. I just stay just as far behind as I have been. So, I'm like, let's just edit several of these at once. But it is movie day today. That's what Tuesdays are. Last week I got one more. I only had 2 more on this shelf. But now this week I deserve go for Should Be Good movie. And I'm definitely in the mood to continue the Marvel Cinematic Universe series, Phase 1 box here. I watched Iron Man. Then I watched The Incredible Hulk. And next, I think is, yeah, Iron Man 2. What do I know about Iron Man 2? I guess from this image, I guess this is probably where, is it War Machine gets involved? Is that his name? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure this is where Black Widow is introduced. And I don't know, maybe there is some decent S.H.I.E.L.D. involvement, because at the end of Incredible Hulk, it sounded like Tony was recruiting for S.H.I.E.L.D., so he may be actually working with them at this point. I don't really know. This is when I know there's some sort of like race car theme or something. And is this the one that has electric weapon villain? I don't know. I'm grasping memories. Here's what I do know. This movie came out while I was living in Florida, going to school at Full Sail, and I remember there were like, I think there were like Burger King toys, because I went to Full Sail, which is like a 24-hour campus, and so I would get home sometimes middle of the night, and during one of the months, like, the Burger King had those toys, was one of the ones where I got home like middle of the night, and Burger King was within walking distance, and either like inside was either 24 hours, or it was at least pretty late that it was open inside, and so I would just walk over there and get myself some food. And I remember that they had like a display of some stuff from Iron Man 2, like probably whatever the kids' meal toys or whatever. There's my memory of Iron Man 2. But today I actually get to see it, so I'm gonna check out Iron Man 2. And I would give Iron Man 2 an 8 out of 10. It was a fun movie. Brief sentence or two about it from Wikipedia. After Tony Stark reveals himself to be Iron Man, the U.S. government demands he hand over his technology. Meanwhile, a rival industrialist and a Russian scientist conspire to use his own technology against him. So, I guess the villain is called Whiplash. I know this from the credits. The end credits reference Whiplash. I don't think it's ever said in the movie, but it makes sense. It's like, oh, he's got a whip that's electric. Yeah, because the things that I recalled about it from, like, the trailers, summarize it pretty well. Yeah, a lot of the... I guess one big thing that it's not dealing with is... that I didn't know is... and that it doesn't mention there, is the... device that he has in his chest is killing him. It's poisoning him. And he's trying to leach it out, but he doesn't have what he needs to be able to do so. So he is a dying man, and so kind of getting reckless as he's doing things, handing over the company to Pepper Potts, and not being the most responsible with the power that he has. Meanwhile, yeah, this Russian scientist is all mad at him, and Tony, being reckless, decides, hey, he's in Monaco, and there's a race going on, and he's got a car in the race, and why own a race car if you're not going to drive it? So he goes to drive his own race car. Reckless, Pepper's upset with it. That's where Whiplash shows up and cuts cars in half with his electric whips. And shows that Iron Man is vulnerable, hoping to inspire others. But, I mean, ultimately, you know, beats him up a bit, but gets taken down, arrested, speaks briefly to Tony while in captivity, enough to just sort of say his philosophical thoughts, and then we see him getting breaking out. And it's this rival industrialist, Hammer, who basically, yeah, he's another weapons manufacturer who's in competition with Stark Enterprises. And so he breaks out this guy because he's like, hey, you made the technology that almost took out Iron Man. We need you with us. So they, like, broke him out of foreign prison. Yeah. So we get him working for him, and of course he's not a trustworthy guy. This Hamner's an idiot for trying to partner with this guy that is cannot be controlled. He's like, sure, yeah, we'll work together when he's devising his own plan. We go on, and S.H.I.E.L.D. gets involved. Now, in my brain, I'm like, of course, Tony's already in with S.H.I.E.L.D. because of what happened in Incredible Hulk. But they're not, and there's some weird things going on, so I had to check online and look it up. Apparently, this movie, Incredible Hulk, and the next one, Thor, are all taking place during the same week. They call it something like Nick Fury's Big Week or something. Because Nick Fury is apparently going through all of these, trying to deal with all of these crises all at once. But yeah, so you have that, and Natasha Romanov, Black Widow, as we will know her, but she doesn't use that alias in this movie. She does use another name, but I don't remember. Anyways, she is, you know, working for Stark Enterprise. You know, she's filling in a role, kind of an assistant role to Pepper Potts, as Pepper Potts is taking over as CEO. Really being in there to spy, gather intel, etc. But, so they get involved and they're like, hey, we know what's going on. You gotta fix this. Here's what, you know, your dad left that he believed you. Anyway, so Tony is able to focus and figure things out and figure out the atom design that his father had, that his father did not have the technology to synthesize, but that Tony now is able to pull together to synthesize a new element, a new atom, which happens to be the exact thing he needs to upgrade his arc reactor and stop it from poisoning him and to cure himself so he's no longer dying. And he makes it into a little triangle shape, so that's where the arc reactor shape on his chest goes from circle to triangle. It's like, oh, so there's a reason behind that. I mean, ultimately, it's a triangle and a circle, so it could still be a circle, but yeah, it's like, oh, okay. So there's a symbolic reason behind the change of that shape. Okay. But, so he gets that, and then kind of looks into what's going on as the bad guy, Whiplash, gives him a call and a threat, and traces the call somewhat to be able to figure out dude's working with Hamner, and so he rushes off to his own expo where Hamner is giving a presentation to show off all these drones, which Whiplash built and said they can only salute. They have no flight, no weapons, and to show off the War Machine, because at a certain point, Rodney, Tony's buddy, sick of dealing with his drunkenness and irresponsibility with the Iron Man suit, as he's like blowing things up with his blasts at a party, like having people like throw watermelons in the air and he shoots them. It's like, that's a little irresponsible. So War Machine like puts the beat down, takes one of the suits, goes off to the army. Army gets Hamner to upgrade the suit and add all sorts of extra weapons and stuff. So they're also showing him off. Alright, look at all this stuff Hamner's company is doing. Look at these. We got the drones, and we got this upgraded version of the Iron Man suit, and Tony hops in the middle of the presentation where his buddy is, and he's like, dude, we gotta, you need to trust me, you need to work with me. He's working with the bad guy. And then he's all like, what are you talking about? And then bad guy, Whiplash, from controlling computers, is arming all of the drones and taking over the War Machine suit with Rodney still inside of it. And Rodney's all like giving Tony advice like, I'm doing this. This is what's happening. Avoid this. Because he can see what he's shooting, but he can't stop it. So then we get big sky battle, big climactic thing. Drones and War Machine all battling Iron Man as they fly through the air above this expo event facility. It's exciting. Meanwhile, Natasha and Happy go to Hamner's facility. Happy deals with one of the guards. Natasha deals with the rest of the guards. It's actually very funny, an awesome scene. It's sort of a mix of her badass fighting and just like him just like struggling to beat this one guy. And he's like, got it. Looks behind the hall, and there's just all these unconscious bodies. And he got one guy down. He's like, oh. It was good. It was fun. It was fun. And that's a good description of the movie. The movie is fun. Anyway, so they get in. Natasha reboots the War Machine suit so that Rodney has control again. Whiplash is mysteriously gone. The drones attack, and War Machine and Iron Man manage to take him out before Whiplash shows up in a full like metal suit, and there's a very, very short battle between them where he's all like, I'm strong, you can't beat me, I got whips. And then they use the same technique that ultimately ended their fight when they were fighting over Tony being drunk in the Iron Man suit, to take him out. And he's like, haha, well, I still won because all of the drones and him are all bombs. So they're like, we gotta get out of here. And Tony's like, I gotta save Pepper, because she's still like hanging out in the area. And he does, don't worry. He saves her, so she can feature in future movies, because she is like one of the best characters. She's great. And so she's all emotional and like, I quit. I don't think she really quits, but she's just freaking out because she was just high speed picked up and then explosions behind her, and that is not the kind of job she is in for. She does business. She doesn't deal with explosions. Maybe one day. And then we get to our ending, sort of saying, we got Tony in some sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. office. Fury comes in. He's like, nope, don't look at the Avengers Initiative. We're not so sure you're ready to go to that. Here's your assessment. And he's like, and basically Natasha rated Tony Stark not fit. Iron Man fit to recruit, but not Tony Stark. And he's like, how can you recruit me but not recruit me? And like, at this point, we think we're just wanting you for a consultant. He's like, you can't afford me, but I'll do it if you humiliate this guy, this like politician that's been a jerk to me thus far. Nick's like, yeah, I can do that. We can pull some strings, make him eat humble pie. So Tony's going to be in a consulting role, and during that point, we also see some of the footage from Incredible Hulk from like the news reports. Like the same news reporter that was reporting in that movie is like I think it might just be the scenes from it. Like they're watching that news report. So that's sort of showing that Hulk is going on at the same time. And so it's after this scene, I guess, that Tony goes to the end of Incredible Hulk scene. And then we get our post-credits scene, where Coulson, who left partway through whatever he was helping or guarding Tony with, because he had to go to New Mexico, and I'm like, is there anything in Incredible Hulk in New Mexico? And I couldn't think of anything. But at the end, they answer, because he pulls up near, like, in the desert, near a crater, and there's Thor's hammer just sort of sitting there, and he's like, we found it. So, it's like, okay. So that's related to the next movie. Okay, they're foreshadowing. Okay, we'll see. That'll be fun. Because I know like nothing about Thor. I can see where he interacts with the Avengers and such, but I don't know anything of his own plot lines. And like clearly there's some sort of weird culture and society that it's all about. And next time we watch Marvel, we'll find out, I guess. But it was fun. It's fun to see Black Widow's character get her start. I love seeing things with Pepper. Some of the ordeal, like the emotional issues that Tony Stark was dealing with was fun. Seeing a guy dealing with like he's dying and he's going from we'll solve this to resigned to it and misbehaving from it, and then finding out that he actually can solve it. It's well done. Of course, War Machine gets his start. Whiplash was not necessary. Like, I mean, he adds cool action and facilitates some things, but the actual, like, battles with him are just adding cool action. Like, they're not... Like, they weren't part of, like, the overarching plot that was needed. They were just a tool to push that forward. But all the stuff with the emotional situation and dealing with the stuff with S.H.I.E.L.D. and with advancements in Pepper and War Machine and all that moves our story forward is cool. It's really exciting. And the electric whips were fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, no, I had fun. It's a fun movie. I put off watching these movies for so long. I am pleased to be getting around to them at last. I can say that. And I've rambled on long enough. I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues.